Well, we're going to get through the second half here. In the second half, we're going to talk about, again, more about specific workflows that you can use within a business environment. And at the end portion, we're going to get into how do you actually capture a very good voice clone, and how do you capture a very good image part of yourself, because sometimes people say, well, I can't get mine to look like yours, and I don't want you leaving that way. I want you to know exactly how I capture when I do it for myself, when I do it for others, so that there's no trickery in doing this. This is how you actually get it done. So another big area, if you look outside the sales and marketing part, the customer onboarding and support is huge. And I've worked with startups to scale-up companies for a long time, and there's that one bit of pressure that you get with, we've got to get sales, and then there's that other part that's the which is, now we've got sales, now we've got customers, and we're not doing our job about onboarding them, and we're at risk of having churn take place because we didn't know that success is also can also be a huge pressure, because now you actually have to service what you have. So let's talk about some of the applications where avatars can help, not replace customer support, but where they can actually help. New customers need a lot of information. New customers don't always use the tool or the service that we give them right away because they've got a lot of questions. They need a lot of hand-holding. They need to be guided at the right moment. Avatars can help deliver that repeatable, clear, human-facing support that's there to sort of, oh, that's how I do it. Again, there's still escalation that needs a human involved, but if something can be there 24/7 available that can handle 95% of it, then that's a good thing. So the best use cases are, of course, the welcome. You're bringing new people on into your business. So the welcome and next steps. Sometimes milestone nudges, letting people know, hey, great, you've reached this point, or you're doing this, letting them know where they're at. FAQ is huge. Frequently asked questions. Doing it with more depth and more understanding than you can do with just something written. And of course, if you're using that interactive part where you may have live answers within a certain set of parameters and guardrails. So let's look at first example being onboarding video, welcoming the customer, letting them know, what's about to happen, what are the next steps, setting the expectations, and directing them to the different support and help that a human needs to give them. So that can be automated. It's the same thing that you do each time, and you need it to be consistent at times. So here's an example. We created a company called Luma Ops, and we'll use it for the next couple of examples. So this could be just as very simple as, again, a templated background, just a simple email that goes out to every single person. It could be personalized to each individual person in that company that we're onboarding, so they get a direct message that is specific to them. Even in their own language, if you needed it too. So let's just see what.
Hi, Alex. Welcome to Luma Ops. We're excited to have your team with us. Your account has now been created, and the first step is simply to get your core team set up and comfortable inside the platform. Over the next few days, there are 3 things we recommend doing first. First, confirm who on your team needs access and make sure each person can log in. Second, connect your shipment or operations data source so your dashboard can begin showing real activity. Third, book your onboarding session with our customer success team so we can walk through your first workflow together. You do not need to learn every feature today. The goal for day 1 is to get oriented, understand what happens next, and make sure your team knows where to go for help. If you need support, you can visit the Help Center, use the setup checklist inside your dashboard, or reply directly to this message, and our team will help you from there. Welcome again to Luma Ops. We're glad to be working with you.
So, ends on a real bad note. So that was with no editing. That's just a quick, like these examples that I'm giving you, they literally were a couple minutes just to put these together in the slides, so you had something that was hopefully a little bit more relevant within a business environment. But just a simple onboarding message that can be delivered, always the same, giving you the next steps, simple moments. You may have a series of different videos that help your new customers just how to use a particular feature that are just there. They're available for them. They can be in a database form as well. The other part that is huge is building a top 10 or top 20, whatever it is, an FAQ micro library. Just a short clip, 30 to 90 seconds, same visual format each time. That's really organized in terms of that question if they're reaching out, that really helps solve everything that they need to do from it. And it's not only just in an FAQ that they can go to and find on your site. You can have these things go out as different, monthly email, did you know? So you can reuse that same video by email. It can be sitting in your help center. It can be part of a support reply that automatically goes out with a ticket once they reach support, so that there's a little something that's more human-like that attaches to support. It can go into in-app messaging if it's right there in particular. So there's a lot of ways that you can reuse that content. And maybe something that I haven't brought up that's so important is, if we were doing this in regular video, I'm a videographer. I had a cooking channel on Shaw during the pandemic, and there were no second cuts. So when I messed up on my words, that's what was going to go on that week on cable. But I love to cook, and I've never had a problem being in front of camera. But you couldn't redo stuff, and it was just really costly. And when you produce things, I would help as a videographer at times, helping companies, capture their message. You know how many companies have their videos that are on their sites that so much of it isn't relevant anymore, but it's the best video that they have, and they're not going to spend $15,000 again for another video. When you have your videos created by your avatars, they live in a section where they're there and they're editable. So you have something that changes. You've made an improvement. You made an upgrade. All you're doing is going in there, changing a little bit of text, or having AI rewrite that text so now it's relevant, and you're pressing render, and it's creating that new video right now that's relevant again. So the ability to always have consistent and not add cost and be able to do it at timing is absolutely huge. Because usually when we do stuff, we do stuff right, but our business changes. Our solutions change, our customers' needs change, but it's often that takes too much time or too much cost for us to do it. This now allows us to, if you're looking ahead to things that you may need to adapt or change or iterate, these are great tools to be able to quickly do that with. So if we were looking at again for Luma Ops, and maybe if we were looking at an FAQ, this could be a simple FAQ, how do I invite a team member?
Hi, and welcome to this quick Luma Ops help video. One common onboarding question is, how do I invite a new team member? From your dashboard, go to Settings, then Team Members. Click Invite User, enter their name and email, and choose the appropriate permission level. Once you send the invite, they'll receive an email with instructions to create their account. If you're unsure which role to assign, use the role guide on that same page. And if you need more help, visit the Help Center or reply to your onboarding email.
Personally, I would rather have that answer delivered to me that way than in a one-paragraph read. And if I look at how people digest things on social feeds, we press the arrow because we like to have a video delivered to us. It's more common to be the human choice to have that. It's it's not the same as a real life person, but we tend to enjoy that as humans, having something that feels a little bit more human, where we have those senses a little bit better. That's a stock avatar. That could just as easily be an avatar of yourself, avatar of me, an avatar of someone in your organization that's in that role where it's important to have. So these can all be duplicated. I mean, but that doesn't require you filming anything. That is just taking an avatar, creating a background, but you could have a video background, you could have a whole bunch of the right images going behind it as you're making it. You can do as much or as little as you need with it. So again, right format for the job when it comes to working on onboarding. Is it a short video? Is it a knowledge base article or video that you're doing, or do you need to get something that's 24/7 that is a live avatar application that can work back and forth with you. Live avatar now is a separate product outside of HeyGen because it's an area that is a very large growth for enterprise customers that are moving towards having their own LLMs in their environment where their avatar can really be incredibly useful and be able to direct people within their organization. So the live avatar part, again, real quickly, the repeatable questions, guiding the user to the right resource fast. So rather than, let me put you on hold for someone to come in, your live avatar can be prompted to actually take you right to where you need to go, connect you right to that resource. It can deliver, that constant tone every time. It's not going to get worked up if it's in the customer service, even if a person gets a little bit irate with the avatar. It'll still be polite. It can be trained to be polite and still be as pleasant as it maybe shouldn't, but it will. And it's there for extending office hours, getting past it. Our customers sometimes need us or need an answer on something when we're not there. We can't be there all the time. It's not going to replace and handle everything. You can give it the guardrails of what it can. You can also, when you're onboarding customers, let them know that we have 16-hour support with live people, but we have 24/7 support with our avatar that can handle this, and this. Can't look after this, but for these particular things, it can help you here. So it's setting the stage and making sure that you're framing how you're using a live avatar if you're going that route. And it works best if it's a tight knowledge base, clear guardrails. It's not everything to everyone. Just like if you want that, then just go to ChatGPT or or Claude or Grok or whatever. Just ask it anything. These should be, if you're having it, it's very specific to a particular area that it can help it and give you something meaningful. So guardrails that make, if you're making an interactive avatar trustworthy, clear scope and boundaries, making sure that it's trusted, it's actually based on real knowledge, not inaccurate information, that there is guardrails for privacy, data, and security. So stuff that they're maybe providing, that it only will accept certain things, that it won't have discussions about other things, it's only safe responses, that you have fallback answers built in, and that there's human escalation that's available and built into it. These are not simple things to build for everyone in their home. When you get into live avatar, you're generally going to need someone that is technical within your team or that you bring in that can tie that into your website. And there's also understanding whether or how to build an LLM that can support one of these, or how to build a knowledge base that can do the simple parts to it. So it might be something that seems like the coolest feature, but it's probably the one that I tell people, don't go there until you have spent time introducing your customers and introducing your staff and existing clients to having avatars helping in some way that's a positive experience. I think this is probably the last level that you bring in at a point, and you bring in, like anything, cautiously, and you see how your interaction goes from there. So one onboarding message, many markets, we talked about the part where we can do that in any language, and again, not just from a global perspective, but it could be regional where you have different people and different needs. Internal training and SOP communication. Internal training, I've been a business owner for most of my life, and I take a lot of responsibility when I had, I won't call bad hires at times, because I had a lot of people that didn't make it in our retail stores because they had bad training, because we didn't have time. We were growing, and when we're growing, that's when we needed to bring more people on right away. We didn't have time to deal with everything that was already there, so we needed people, we needed bodies per se. But we didn't have time to train people properly to give them success. So some people would be trained a lot better, and some people were kind of starting on their own and trying to figure it along the way. An avatar should never replace how you train people. but it can be there to augment, to be part of the training process for certain things that are going to be repeatable, that can be reused, used concepts. So growth is always going to give us a communication debt. Where there's new hires, managers, same explanations, SOPs that they get outdated often way too quickly. And recruiting that in early stage can be really based on the founder being able to communicate that message. So inconsistency just means slower execution. And sometimes the wrong message, and even getting away from the culture of what we are and what we do. So if you can, if you can work on taking time to capture some of the parts that you can at least shorten the amount of time that's needed to make sure that these resources are available. By having training videos that are always up to date, they can be part of a video database bank. They can be part of a system like ThinkEpic where staff can go through different sections. Maybe it's recurring training that needs to get done where they can go through and keep getting updated on it. So repetitive training can become repeatable training very easily. And it can make a huge difference in terms of how successful we make people. And if you want to scale, if you want to franchise, if you want to get bigger, it still involves people. And it means that we have to be consistent to have our brand and have our culture continue. So recruiting is also a communication system. Think about recruiting from an avatar point of view, where there can be messages from the founder, from other team members, talking about, what does it mean to work for ABC company? What are our values? What do we stand for? What's important to us? Why are our customers so special? What does it mean to be part of our team? You can have that delivered in the likenesses from the different team members if you want. Culture and vision. It's a scalable process. It can be built in right within your recruitment ads, linking them to a site or linking them to different things. So in markets right now, we've got to have a different market going on, but we've had markets where it's been really hard to attract talent. And sometimes it's just that we can't communicate why it's so great to work with us. And avatars can help you with that portion. So we've kind of gone through these sections all over, so I'm not going to dwell on them. But some of the ways, again, measuring is important. So can you measure, are there less repeated questions? Is there a higher compliance rate because people actually understand what they're supposed to do, what the SOPs mean? And are the candidates feeling more engaged? Are you surveying them and finding out, is this working for them? Are they benefiting by having that additional layer built into it? The last part that I'm going to talk about when it comes to workflows, this is one that maybe gets overlooked. How many of you have been involved in raises or funding? Okay, yeah, there's definitely a few here. When you're not communicating to the people that give you money, they start to get worried. Even if sales look good, there always needs to be a lot of transparency on what's going on, especially if you're looking at more rounds coming up. If you're growing and maybe some parts aren't growing or moving as fast, you can simplify it. I'm on a few boards, and I get some of the board packages that I get are stupidly large. Like, there is no way I'm going to read through this stuff, and I'll get AI to look through it because I just want to get something that I can understand. And also think about it as a management team or a founder. We want to be able to frame what's going on in the right way. If we just give a whole bunch of information to our investors and say, okay, you figure out how we're doing, they may have a very different impression than what's going on depending on the order of what they read. So I think that this is an area that maybe doesn't come to mind at first about how you can use avatars for stakeholder or investment engagement. But for the updates and sometimes that pre-read part, this can be huge because this can set the tone for how you go through the information that's coming through your package. So a simple template that might be 69 minutes or 90 minutes, or not minutes, seconds, of just what's happened since last update, what's going well, what needs attention, what decisions or support may be needed, and what comes next before the check-in. Just preparing them for the board package. I would say this doesn't replace the package that's going to come out, but this probably should go with the package and be something that they can quickly see and they can understand. So I want to give you an example of what that could look like. If you had a templated part that was going through, we'll call this, Clear Path Health, and just a simple Q2 board update that comes with the package.
Thanks in advance for taking the time to join our Q2 board update. You should be receiving the full board package in your inbox now, but I wanted to send a short video with a few of the key highlights before we meet. Since our last update, we've made solid progress across revenue, product, and customer adoption. Revenue is up 18% quarter over quarter, and we've added 3 new clinic groups to the platform, bringing us to 41 active customer locations. We also expanded one of our existing accounts, which is a strong signal that our onboarding and product experience are continuing to improve. What's going well is that we're seeing stronger early customer engagement. Our average implementation time has dropped from 21 days to 12, and usage in the first 30 days is trending ahead of plan. On the product side, we released our updated intake workflow and analytics dashboard, both of which have been well received by customers and are helping strengthen our position in the market. What needs attention is primarily on the sales side. A few larger opportunities are still moving, but procurement cycles are taking longer than expected, especially with enterprise health organizations. We're also watching implementation capacity closely as new customers come on board, so we want to stay ahead of that before it becomes a bottleneck. From a decisions and support standpoint, there are 2 areas where your input will be valuable. First, we'd like feedback on the timing and structure of our next financing process. Second, we'd appreciate introductions where appropriate to strategic partners or health system decision makers who could help accelerate our pipeline. Before our next check-in, our focus is to convert 2 late-stage opportunities, complete the next phase of product integration work, and continue tightening execution around onboarding and customer success. Thanks again. I'm looking forward to discussing the full package with you and getting your feedback at the board meeting.
It doesn't replace anything, but that could be a very quick way of framing the key things. And it can change how the information that's long and boring comes across. And if templated, you can be using AI to help you with putting that together. It's very easy for your managers to be getting you what you need, and you can have consistency with that always coming together. And it's a perfect, that's a perfect use of conveying information. All of the, the key paperwork, the financials, they're all, super important, but a very quick, high level that you can look at on your phone or while you're driving, you can listen to. So, you still, guardrails for trust, whenever we're talking about this stuff, you guys still make sure you're disclosing. Authenticity is key. Who owns the question about who owns the decision or the voice or the relationship that the avatar makes or breaks, and what kind of quality standards that you have in there. So these things can't be overlooked. There is no guidelines for process on this stuff right now. But they're conversations that you need to have internally and make sure they align within your business, your organization, and just ethically where you stand with this. It is moving fast. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, do you think we'd ever be talking about how we would, what would our guardrails be around avatars or AI? Wasn't even a thought or consideration. We just thought at first ChatGPT was going to be something neat that we could ask questions to. We didn't know that 3 years later we'd be faced with a lot of different discussions and stuff. So how do we build this stuff? You recognize the person. That's Rob. So there's no magic, but in order to create these workflows, you've got to start by, if you're going to use a likeness of yourself or a likeness of someone else, and it's not going to be a stock version, how do you make it work out good? So I'm going to go through the steps with you, and I brought a few things to sort of show you what's worked for me. And a lot of what I do has been used and promoted through HeyGen because for whatever reason, early back in the harder part where we had to take 2 or 3 minutes to do something, the CEO actually singled me out as directing people, saying, if you want to have a real lifelike avatar, go talk to John. Because a lot of people that were building avatars were people that weren't comfortable being on camera. I approached it differently. As I had no problem being on camera. It was about how do you capture a good likeness versus standing still. So clean capture, strong lighting, framing, natural delivery, and voice input. This is where we're going to talk about voice because I've avoided it to this point because it's still an area that needs a lot of work. So let's talk about voice. Voice isn't an afterthought, and I honestly, in every professional avatar that I do, voice is the first thing that I take care of. If we don't get our voice right, our voice is really how people identify us. You hear someone, if you're coming up the hallway, you hear them talking, you know, we haven't seen them, but we hear them, we know that voice has to be real, it has to sound like us. So 15 seconds, an AI can capture your essence visually of who you are. To get proper voice is minimum 2 hours of capture, somewhere between 2 to 4 hours. Now it sounds like, oh God, that's horrible. So here's what I do. And this actually breaks the ice. People are always worried about have to be on camera. So I say, okay, we'll do the easy stuff first. We're gonna do voice. And they think we're gonna have a conversation, but what we actually do is I'll use 2 mics. And you don't have to have all this stuff, but if you're trying to get something that's gonna be really good, maybe borrow from someone, I'll put one mic as being a podcast mic, which usually you can even find access or ones to borrow from people. And the other is just a lavalier mic that I put. I don't bother using a phone or other mics because what I'm trying to really get is that crisp voice that's them. You pick a quiet room, and if you have a whiteboard behind you or you put up a piece of paper, what you do is you get them to make notes and say, okay, when you come, I want you to write just some keywords on things that are good things that you'd like to talk about. That could be family, could be hobbies, could be sports, kids, growing up, whatever it was. Because I want you to forget about, if you read something, it's going to sound like you're a narrator reading something. If you're talking naturally and you're talking about things that bring out that real part of you, you stop thinking about that. And what people find is you go through, it's a monologue. I'm there, I'm looking at my laptop, I've got stuff plugged in, and once they get past the first few minutes, they just start telling stories. And I keep it to about 40-45 minutes because after that, our voice starts to decline. My voice doesn't sound the way it did at the start of today. But about 40-45 minutes, we start to see a noticeable decline. So I get them to talk for about that period of time, and they just go through one subject to the next. And our natural tendency is you start to, it's kind of interesting, I haven't thought about that for a while, and you start explaining stories. It brings out that real natural part of who we are. And then I do a little bit of audio process on it, and I'll capture usually 4 45-minute chunks. One at the start of the day with them, one at the end, and then another 2 on another day. That audio, unfortunately, there is no fast way of doing it. Because in that audio, it gets what our pace is. How do we form our words? How does our tone move up and down? So far, AI can't do that quickly. Even though you hear these things, oh, they had a 30 seconds or 20 seconds of someone's voice and they duplicated it. that actually does not happen. You have to have some real parts of how you speak and how your tones are. If you have background noise, the AI thinks that background noise is part of how we sound, and it will incorporate that in there. So that's the natural and kind of easy way to do it. So you end up with these voice files, you put them together, and that's what it'll train on. So you can do the quick 15-second capture that HeyGen will allow you to do. It's 15 seconds of audio capture. It will sound a bit like you. It will not sound that much like you. But it gives you an option that you can upload audio. So yes, please.
Why does perfection matter in this context? Like, sorry, you just spent a lot of time, and it's awesome. By the way, this is awesome. But like, it just occurred to me, unless you're trying to spoof, like, 100, we don't have to be 100%.
No, you don't have to be. But if you are trying to get your same tone and your same sound, but if that's not important, then it doesn't matter.
Well, if I'm going to send this to a client,
Yeah.
they're going to know. I mean, for now. Maybe next year they won't, which is also creepy. But right now they're going to know. So lean into it. Like, hey, put this together for you, and I think it's actually, I don't know if endearing is the word, but it's not perfect, and that's fine. But it's better than reading, right? The idea is that listening is better than reading, and seeing is better than not seeing. And anyways, I don't know. I think it's awesome, and I don't think, like, keep working. But who cares if it's perfect?
Everyone can be a judge of that, but generally when a professional's coming to me and they want their voice cloned for what they're going to do, they want it to sound like that.
Yeah, if I'm James Earl Jones, then yes.
Yeah. So if we have a particular mannerism about ourselves, and if you produce video, when videographers are producing stuff, if they don't get good audio, the video doesn't look good.
That's fair.
And that's the reason I emphasize that, because people tend to be more critical if their audio doesn't come out. So that would be the way to capture good audio. But you don't have to. I mean, if you can use the stock audio clips. Yes.
How do you actually do this? Is it all on the platform, or is there a separate?
No, I just do it separately. There's free audio tools. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just record it separately and then feed it in as an audio
And
file.
upload it.
Yeah. Yes.
Then what happens if you've got like a webinar you've recorded and you've got your voice print and all that? Can you use that?
Like what I'm doing now?
Yes.
No, it would sound crappy. I've tried doing that because I'm breathing heavier if I'm moving around. It's picking up on different sounds even though the mic's close by. But it couldn't be used to have anything that sounded good. Yes.
So the woman that you used as an example with the translation,
Yes.
I think you said that you used a
Podcast.
podcast. That
So
you
a podcast had no exterior sound and it was coming right from one of those mics. So that was but if she had, say, something that was an interview or a talk, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
But if she's talking, was she talking to somebody else too?
No, she's giving a financial update.
So it was a one-way.
One way.
Thanks.
Yeah. So one-way conversation, or one-way not conversation, but one-way message. Yes.
There was just a follow-up observation, because we think about this all the time with our clients. There was a statement just made a moment ago that video is better than text. My only observation is there's some cases, actually, text is actually a far more efficient way of absorbing information than video, because video is a very structured, linear process. You can't see ahead. If you're consuming it, you have no idea what's happening next. So when I take information in from YouTube, I almost always have it on twice speed because it's incredibly slow. YouTube has been smart, and if you look at the videos, they start to tell you what's coming next, like at minute 2:30, they get to this. Whereas in some business situations, a piece of paper is still way more effective because I can speed read, I can jump ahead to the section that's relevant. So, just an observation. Now, having said that, in other instances, video is absolutely a far more compelling way to relay information where you might otherwise get lost or what have you.
And 100%, this goes back to that earlier part that it is not for every situation. It's making sure that you're doing it in ones where the end user, the consumer, is saying that I prefer it.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah. So it has to be a benefit, not saying you should enjoy this because I've made it. But they're saying, I prefer it coming to you this way.
Exactly, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So we've gone through the voice capture part. There's built-in voices are already available, so if you don't want it, you can use any voice that you want that's in the HeyGen library, or you can use, of course, your own. And then capturing face. This is really simple now. It used to be 2 to 3 minutes of capture, but now you're looking at 15 seconds. So all you need is soft lighting. But this is a part that maybe if you can get someone to capture it versus yourself. If you capture with a webcam, you kind of sometimes get weird angles where it takes you on. But if a person uses our phones are wonderful, or if you have access to a DSLR camera, just make sure it's coming at you straight. Yes?
Is it helpful? So maybe I've seen too many Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
Is it helpful to have multiple angles? Does it work better if you get multiple angles? So sorry. Go.
No.
Okay. Fair point.
At the beginning, I shot people in different ways back when it trained on you like that. And that, as soon as it went to the part where the AI recreates you,
Yeah.
it just needs to have
That's
straight
What
on.
about the back of your head?
It figures it out. I don't know how. It figures out how you move, how you walk, how the rest of you move. So just waist up. 15 seconds, good light, yes.
So if we have the light ring, camera, tripod thing, put this in,
Yep,
make sure your face doesn't look too weird,
yep.
and then
And that's it, Bob's your uncle. The only thing I would say that maybe is helpful is if you shoot yourself and you're not sure how you look on the other end of the camera. When I say not looking at you, we have different tendencies to, if you're taking a video of someone
yeah.
and they're talking at you and you've got the camera there, when they're looking at the camera, they're not rolling their eyes up and thinking about something, so you can edit the 15 seconds, it looks good.
Right.
So all you need is 15 seconds for it, but you might shoot a minute and then just edit 15 good seconds where you're talking. And when you're capturing, the other thing you want to do is make sure that if you talk with your hands, that it's your normal gestures, maybe a little bit more exaggerated than normal. Okay. AI will pick up your wedding ring. AI will pick up and it can figure out if your hair is going to be in a different way. It can in turn make sure that you're opening your mouth enough so it can see your mouth and figure it out. It couldn't do that before. Before it was captured on whatever you got over that 2 or 3 minutes. Now it fills in the blanks because it's just had that much more input, and we're not as unique as we think we are. That's just how it is. Natural expression doesn't matter what you're wearing. It can redress you afterwards, and it gets it pretty darn right. So matching the job, now that you can figure out, that you just have to capture one look, you can create all the different looks of you, and it's just, pick something that's suitable for the application. Before we had to film every single look you wanted. And now when you go in the site, you can pick whatever look you want, and you can convert your avatar into it. And I mean, you can be changing your looks all the time, or you can make it consistent. It's really up to you. When I give workshops, quite often my avatar will deliver upwards of 30% of my workshop, and I'll do more of the back and forth question and answer talking. So here's an example. I'm just going to let my avatar talk a little bit about some of the extensions that you can add into HeyGen that allow it to be more useful than just being a single platform by itself. Oh, where's it set? And is not only useful on its own, it also connects into a broader ecosystem of business tools. In this first set of integrations, tools like Zapier, Make, Papley, and Clay point to workflow automation, personalization, and scale. That means HeyGen content can become part of a larger business process rather than being created manually every time. And in this second set, with tools like HubSpot, Slack, Canva, ChatGPT, and others, you can see how HeyGen can fit into sales, marketing, onboarding, and internal communication workflows that companies already are running. So the big takeaway is this: the platform has integration capacity, which makes it much more practical for scaling companies looking to embed AI video into real operations. So if you're already using yes.
No, ask that. Go ahead. Ask that.
I was just going to say, if you're using Canva already, it's already there. If you have a HeyGen account, you can put your avatar right in. Yes.
So with HubSpot, for instance, if I've recorded a welcome message after interacting with a client, and I actually have another client and their first name, for instance, can I program it to actually change, like the
avatar?
yeah, saying, hey, John, and then, hey, Bill, because it knows that Bill's the next contact.
Yeah, the previous one, Clay, is one that people use that for a lot,
Okay.
C-L-A-Y. And Clay, you can do that at mass. HubSpot, there's a lot that people do with it. I don't know all the capabilities within some of the higher paid versions of HubSpot.
Yeah.
But HubSpot doesn't do the mass stuff as much. They've never been as big on that. But Clay is the one that most people use for that. Exactly what you're describing.
Yeah, like it's, you can do it with emails now,
Yeah.
for instance,
Yeah.
easy, right?
Yeah.
Can you do it with?
Yes.
Okay, you
Yeah,
can
you
do
can with
avatars,
that.
okay.
And you can do it where it's completely automated, so that you're not having to touch that
So you
picture.
can send out 500 at the same time, it'll know the first name, and you can customize
And
it.
with Clay, it can actually, you can use it to enrich the data for where you're sending it to, so it can look through things on the web and about the company where you could personalize. We just said congratulations on the recent announcement of such and such, so it can do it all behind there.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Is there an API?
Pardon me?
Is there an API?
Yeah. It's got API and MCP. They launched a new one recently with it, so it's available for large scale, and you could bypass the regular creation if you just go through.
I was just thinking your integration just got other integrations and
Yeah. Yeah, so very simple to be able to do that. They're really moving towards the ability to scale larger where you need to. So I told you I'm going to show you a little bit of. I didn't want to start with some of the really super cool things you did, because oftentimes it's, AI video is about, oh wow, you can do these amazing things. I wanted to focus on the workflow side. But now I want to focus on a little bit about that important part. When we're marketing or we're putting out a new idea and something that we really need to capture and get that hook and get that wow moment. This is the stuff that is amazing now. So when just after the release of Avatar 5, we had the release of Avatar 5 combined with CDance 2.0. So now you can combine cinematic video with Avatar, and you can create some of the most amazing things, and you can use multiple avatars, up to 3 within a scene. So I'm going to let you see a couple of quick things, and this is now one of the most amazing parts if you want to have some really cool things on something that you're demoing, where you may just want to have something that really emphasizes a pain point that you want to get across, and have it come in a way that that most of us could not afford to pay for a company to be able to do that. So you can just hear, this is the part of a release that came out just a couple of 3 weeks ago.
You've seen me like this before, standing still, talking to a camera. But what if I told you that's no longer the limit?
Now you can go from static avatars to dynamic performance with full control and consistency across your video.
HeyGen takes CDance to the next level. This is not just for cinematic visuals. This can become you performing anywhere.
One avatar, infinite environments. Speak to more clients, in more contexts, without creating from scratch every time.
You can now place multiple people in the same scene, present together, speak together, same moment, all in one video.
Combining your HeyGen digital twin and CDance 2.0's dynamic generation, all business around the world just unlocked Apple quality video production. Build your enterprise content pipeline on HeyGen now.
3 people, 3 digital twins.
One scene. Until now, putting multiple people in the same shot meant booking studios, coordinating schedules, and hoping everyone was available.
That era is over. With multi-avatar, you can create cinematic scenes with up to 3 people at once. No extra recording.
No production days.
Place your team in any environment in real life or in your imagination.
You could be in a boardroom in Dubai.
Or record inside of a podcast studio. Or giving a presentation on a stage in Tokyo. Your digital twin goes where you can't.
And now, they can finally share a scene.
Every one of you here can actually do that. That's called avatar shots. And it's, you can burn a lot of tokens really quickly doing this. But you can do 4 seconds up to 15 seconds of an avatar shot. And what you're seeing there is stitched together. But you may have something where you want to have a bold, a pretty bold presentation coming out that's again really emphasizing something that is important, and you're getting all that life. So those are all still from 15-second capture. So it is understanding probably how you moved. What your legs look like, even though you were only getting it from the torso upwards. I'm not going to show you, but I have me as Thor flying through the air. And actually, my girls think that's kind of cool. So Dad could be the super hero in it. But I look at it more from that point of view. If your business solves a particular problem, and you can use Hollywood-style creation to emphasize that problem and then the solution that you're getting, all of a sudden it's about being a director. I'm a videographer. I make a crappy director because I just get behind the camera and I film and then I edit it together. So I was pretty useless at trying to create my Thor and other things. So in the process, and with working with the team, I built a custom GPT that's a HeyGen cinematic director, which you're getting in that email that's coming from Marissa shortly. And you can explain what you're trying to do, and it'll act as a movie director, and it will write and explain, because this is all done by text, and it will explain what that scene would look like. The more you use it, the more you understand kind of how you might tweak it or get accustomed to it, because directors explain what the scene looks like, how the camera's moving, how you're moving, and doing all that. So it's an interesting process for it. So you have that additional tool in there if you want to play with it. Just one last thing in this. Remember Chris earlier back that just got the 15-second capture and doesn't like to be in that? Well, his marketing person has been having fun taking popular memes and tying them into their IT business and putting them out. So this is Chris using Avatar 4 or Avatar 5 and CDAS. So he's been burning up a lot of tokens, but he's been enjoying himself.
If I record the interior of my house, for example, can I put myself doing a walkthrough 15-20 seconds of that explaining, like, I don't know, like showing someone what art should I put on this wall or something?
You bet you can. If you're a realtor, and I've got great examples on that, you can take a few pictures within a house and you can be doing a walkthrough of the house.
Oh, you just need pictures. I don't have to film it. I can just take pictures of my house and do a walkthrough.
Yeah. The last video that I created here a week ago for it coming in, I used a little short clip, and it has me in whatever outfit I did that part, walking in from here, turning to the camera, and it just moved into a regular portion of it. So I used just 4 seconds to have me in full walking motion. And that was from the website picture that I got of this room with the backdrop. That was its reference point. And I had the GPT director took it through what I wanted it to have and then what I wanted to say, and it created everything else. And that was it. So it's not magic, but it's allowing us to do things that we could not have believed possible. So, you know, you've got 30 days, you can play around, you can have fun with it. If you start doing this stuff, you're gonna burn a lot of tokens, but you can buy tokens and they're not that expensive. And, you know, it's kind of silly all of a sudden what you can do, but keeping it from the context that you can, if you're trying to make some real impact on business, it's not about becoming a TikTok creator, it's about sometimes really emphasizing what is it that we do that's great, or about our people, and doing it in a way that's entertaining, that's memorable. Maybe you put out, you know, once a month you put out something that your clients really enjoy, and that other clients say, this looks like a fun company, I want to be part of it. Yes.
Yeah, John, again, I just want to reiterate the value of this afternoon was extraordinary. What's occurring to me, and you've spoken to it towards the end, is this tool and what it's capable of is extraordinary, and the price point is really quite remarkable. I think something for all of us to take away is that what we've got to watch out for is this now commoditizes an ability for everybody to deliver an extraordinary level of quality content, which means where we still want to spend money, as you said, is on the creative team. Because otherwise, you're going to have 99 out of 100 companies having their CEO standing on a mountaintop pronouncing something, and it's all going to be the same. And I mean, I'm thinking about our VentureLabs marketing team behind me here. There's still incredible value that team can provide as creative thinkers, because it's taking this very affordable tool, but it's about storytelling. It's like you said, what's going to be fun is seeing you flying as Thor. That's going to be, that's unique. That's what's going to make you stand out. But it's that creative process. If we just get a bean counter using this thing, you're not going to go anywhere with it, basically.
Yeah, and you know, we found that with a lot of tools. I mean, I write regular articles on LinkedIn. I share a lot of things that I'm happy about with AI. I share things that scare me about AI. And I do that every week, and AI helps me with it, but I'm the one iterating and creating it. It's my thoughts going in, and I take it in directions that I want it to be in. If you don't have skill sets and knowledge, AI amplifies poor talent, in a horrible way. But people that are really understand things and know things, and they can question, they can use AI to the advantage and the full extent. The leverage you get out of it is huge. So it's not a leveler in terms of everyone can do really good work. I mean, you still look at it. The good salespeople are still doing really good sales, and the great people in customer service that we trust are doing great things. But those people that are able to amplify themselves a little bit more in what they do with some of the tools, anything from a writing tool to the other extreme on a video tool.
Well, and what Chris just did there, like that was a really entertaining clip with him putting out the fires.
And Chris didn't do that, but it was his creative team.
It was his creative team, that's right. Yeah. I mean, the tool now enables you to do Hollywood quality production, but somebody still needed to come up with that skit.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you knew Chris, you would know that those are his expressions. That's how he is. So all the clients that have dealt with him for 15 years, for them, it's like, another reason to reach out, to connect and understand that part of that real human trust that he kind of comes out with. They're firefighters. They solve problems for people all the time. They hear from their customers when something's gone wrong. But they've got a series of memes that they've done. That's just one of them. I asked is okay if I shared that out. It's not in your video package because it's part of their marketing. But all the other videos that I used as demos you have links to all of those to be able to see or show a colleague and say, hey, this maybe could we do something along these lines for what you're doing. So a couple of quick last things before we wrap up. Don't try avatars everywhere, but test, learn, improve. Just try something really simple, and these are experiments. Like, these are not be all end alls. Find out where it works in your organization, If it doesn't work in your organization, don't use it. But find things that work, experiment a little bit more. It's like everything else that we do in a process. We need to first make sure, does it move us ahead versus is it just a cool, fancy thing? Your first pilot, make it boringly useful or useful. Like it doesn't have to be something exciting. Maybe it's just one friction point that you can make a little bit easier. Maybe it's something that helps your team. That's a problem for them that just makes it simpler. Whatever it is, do something that's going to be a win. But pick something with friction. If you pick something that's just novelty, well, big deal, right? It wasn't a problem before. This didn't fix it. Try to find something that maybe this type of technology can help you with. And you've got 30 days. You can play with it. I mean, not unlimited on stuff, or you'll have more tokens, but on the basic stuff, you can play and produce tons of it. With some of those other features, and when you look to create something, Avatar 3 is the inexpensive one that doesn't cost you anything. If you want to create something in AI Studio, its first choice for rendering is always Avatar 5, the most expensive. You just drop down the menu, pick Avatar 3, render it in the basic version. If the basic version looks great, leave it at that.
What is the, I mean, is this a big difference?
No cost with 3.
Cost aside, quality difference.
Cost aside, Avatar 3 doesn't understand what you're saying to being hand movements and gestures.
Got it.
Avatar 4 and 5 do that. Avatar 5 really interprets what you're saying to how you should move. And it allows you to change scenes and change images.
And is it the language model behind the language model is yours, or it is it's using one of the big ones, and it's differently weighted?
OpenAI is just a basic part, but if you get in on your in the larger scale with it, you can use any LLM you want behind it.
Sorry, that's what I'm talking about. So it's any LLM driving, and then it's a harness in between.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you're going to use something or try an experiment, just look at it like a true experiment. Did we publish something consistently? Did our audience respond differently or better? Did it save time? Did it improve quality? This produces stuff for you as a JPEG, or not JPEG, an MP4 or MP5. So you own the asset after. You just if you just experiment for 30 days, whatever assets you've downloaded, they're yours. If you're continuing on, you've got all those other templates that you can continue to reuse.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. Who owns the data?
Who owns the data? You own the data. So HeyGen is actually one of the tightest when it comes to its policies. That's why it's the only one that in CDance you can't have CDance account, and you can't upload a picture yourself because they don't have a verification system. They allow the HeyGen partnership because the HeyGen avatars have to be verified. So if I create something with you, the actual person, doesn't matter at what level I'm at, the actual person has to have a video that they will read out, and it does a voice and facial recognition to allow for that to happen. So it has a pretty rigorous part. There's lots of other AI tools where you can have the president of the USA, or you can have all these things doing stuff, but that's generally not stuff you're seeing coming out of the HeyGen part. You own your data. They're looking at just like 11 Labs has, where you can license your voice. I don't think I can get any money for my voice, but people can license their voice to 11 Labs. There are people that are licensing their looks, their models, to be the stock avatars for HeyGen. So they're signing off, and they're being filmed in different parts. So that's allowing them to have that. So when you see a look of one of these other people, you can click on that, and it will reproduce you in that outfit. And in that setting, and then you can remove a backdrop, and you can put any backdrop that you wanted. I didn't want to get into the whole part of how you build all this stuff because it's so straightforward and simple. If you played on any platform, you figure it out pretty quickly. If you can use Canva, then you can use HeyGen to create within it. I'm going to put on the screen at the end, you'll have my LinkedIn if you want to reach out for help. I do provide help as an ambassador. I answer questions and stuff. When I'm wearing my other hat, people bring me in to create projects, create templates for them, help them learn how to put it into workflows or do other parts. I still have to have my retiree money so I can pay for fishing and hunting, and that's where that fits all into the picture.
John, another question for you. Just as I absorb more of this, I think about, there's always, something like this is highly disruptive, but it also creates new opportunities. I have a lot of colleagues and friends in the film industry. They're all worried about this as it relates to conventional TV and filmmaking, obviously. But the flip side is I actually see a massive opportunity for them, if they're willing to switch gears, is to get into the world of advertising. Because basically now, advertising, especially if you want to have a campaign on LinkedIn, any company with even a modest budget can now put on, and I'm thinking as an example, I don't know if you remember that hilarious series, Mac versus PC. Do you remember that? The two of them, and they were, that was a series, right? That was whatever, 5 or 6 or 8 of them.
It probably cost a fortune to make.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
So my question is, do you work with, or are you in the process of reaching out to some story writers and directors who have seasoned experience but could come into a company, and I don't know how long it would take, but probably just a modest amount of time, and create for a company their version of the Mac PC ad series? Because that's kind of where we're at here, really. But again, it goes back to the combination of the technology with that quality of talent. Yeah. And I'm curious whether you're working with any partners on the creative writing side.
I've got a couple of videographers that are slowly coming on board to not being terrified, because they also do work for those same companies, but producing very expensive video, and they're realizing that they kind of have to play around with it a little more. So I think it's a slow process that's going, but it's not a lot different than, like, I created a lot of this stuff. I mean, the first video stuff that I did on TV with our retail stores, that was film on big TV cameras with Jimmy Jibs and going. So we've had all these changes. We went from film photography to, so this is not the first time that this has happened. It's just happening quick. And you're not going to slow it down. It's out there. I mean, it is changing industries, but industries have changed before. Now, likeness that you have, it's maybe not the thing that's going to carry you forever in Hollywood. Probably isn't. And some new thing will come up and we'll hang on to. I don't know what the future holds, but this is changing how we interact, how we do business in a very profound way. And very inexpensive. If you look through stuff, like, I mean, in a very modest budget, you could do unbelievable stuff if you wanted to. But a year and a half ago, it was still hard, because every time you would need something else, you would have to come in and we're going to film you again, and maybe you're having a bad day, your hands are moving weird, and we're not seeing how it looks as an avatar till later. But now, I mean, when I saw that in 15 seconds you got your likeness and you can be doing all this kind of stuff, it's like, oh, hang on a second, now it's ready for business, and it really is a simple process. So thanks for coming. I appreciate it. If you want to stay connected on LinkedIn, that'll take you to my LinkedIn. I put a lot of stuff out on it, both with HeyGen and other stuff going on. So stay in touch, and love to see some cool things that you create. Yes, please.
Just one last. So one of the keys here is getting it to the person properly. So if you're using email, one of the challenges to getting that is getting past filters.
Yes.
So do you have any advice for that, ultimately, of how to set that up so it gets past a lot of those filters that are...
I have a lot of people that use LinkedIn and put that in a message.
Sure, yeah, I totally get that. Yeah. But with email, for instance...
With email's hard.
Yeah, it is, okay.
It's filters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can send these video clips produced down on text message. You can put it through other parts. It's like anything else. You got to be creative. If you're just spamming content and crap and slop, No one's going to care about what you have. But again, if you have meaningful stuff and you have meaningful business behind the message, that's what's going to make you successful in the end. So, appreciate you coming back. At the back of the room, Marissa is there. Give a little shout out. She's been the one that's been putting all this together while I've been in Kamloops or on the island fishing. And I just had to show up today, so she got all the marketing stuff out and all the support materials that I fed her over. She has it timed, so it's going out to yourselves, and use them. Hopefully, they're valuable tools. You should be able to do anything that you saw today with all the stuff that's coming to you by email. You should be able to recreate anything that you saw here. So thank you.
Thank you.